That's good. I got a scene.
Good morning, everybody. It's
Morning.
me, John Caspian.
And John Galvin.
And Mark.
Hooray,
So,
we're all here.
we got a whole bunch to talk about today. As always, summer times are busy for tabletop gaming, but we have a super busy show today because we got to talk about Kill Team, we got to talk about Crucible Guard, we got to talk about other new releases, Age of Sigmar stuff, and the Army stuff.
Absolutely.
But let's go ahead and start off with Kill Team. So everyone knows about Kill Team at this point, right? We've had tons of reviews online. We've had tons of stuff, reviews, playthroughs, etc. And the one question a lot of people are saying is it overhyped? You know, people are basically saying, is my unit selection so small that I can't really do what I want to, etc. So let's go ahead and start off that conversation. My personal opinion is that it can be overhyped depending on what you want to get out of it. If you're looking for a lot of narrative play and a lot more tactical crunchiness, and maneuvering and stuff, very different experience from traditional 40k. If you're looking for that stuff, it's going to be awesome. If you're looking for more of 8th edition, but just on a smaller scale, with the same kind of broad strategical choices and stuff, it might not be what you're looking for.
Yeah. So it's a great new way to play the game, and it's also I think Kill Team in itself is not to satiate a lot of the existing 40k players, but it's to entice in a new crowd, right? Yeah. So same as Necromunda and Shadespire and a lot of these other small specialist games, they really want new people into the game, and I think that's the hype for it, right? And that's where people should be getting.
And even then, you start with your base troops, basically. So if you start with this Kill Team and into 40k, you have the basic troops, and you can build your army around what you already have. And it really doesn't. It's just like Shadespire. You buy the unit and you can use it in Age of Sigmar. Just like you buy the unit, you can still use it in 40k, and you don't have to get a specialist box or anything. You literally just buy what's there for the game.
Exactly. And me and Mark have actually gotten a lot of feedback from dad gamers kind of type where they don't have time for a full 40k game anymore because they got full-time jobs and responsibilities and family and all that, but you tell them it's oh hey, you can get that same 40k feel in 30 to 45 minutes. They're getting pretty excited about that, and I think that's where the hype should be going to the guys that maybe want to be in the 40k universe that don't necessarily have the time or ability to play full games of hundreds of units on the battlefield. So I think that's where the hype should be going. I think a lot of people who think that this is going to be the new format for 40k are probably getting a little overhyped.
Yeah.
But it's natural because it's the new shiny, and that's what Games Workshop's really good at pushing. Is hey, here's this brand new thing. We've put so much resources and development behind it. Yeah. Everyone get excited about it. Get into this. So I think it'll be great, and I think it'll be a nice one-off campaign. You do a Kill Team campaign once a year, and you get that itch scratch. Then it's okay, great. I've got that small skirmish. Now we can go on to either playing bigger size games of 40k, or maybe move over to Necromunda or Shadespire or whatever.
Yeah, you get the more, I guess, the harder skirmishes with the bigger development of your game.
I never thought I'd like orange so much, but there's a lot of orange in all the promo stuff.
Yeah, I guess Kill Team's the orange game. From an advertising and graphic design standpoint, they really want to make sure that you can recognize what Kill Team is, or what a Kill Team product is off the get-go. And a lot of the new 40k stuff is using a lot of those blues and reds and things like that. So this is a great way to kind of differentiate it and make sure that you as the consumer can see what is Kill Team and what's not Kill Team.
Ricky says the focus is to be able to buy a box and run the models and options from the box that you want to run, albeit with rule limitations. It makes sense, versus the 40k metas and such. Yeah, Ricky, that's a good point. So basically, what they're trying to accomplish from what they've shown on social media is that if you get a box of Primaris Intercessors, you want to be able to customize it however is able to in that box. So for Kill Team, the only options are the ones that come with those particular models. So if you happen to have a kit or something like that that's an extra add-on that you buy from Forge World, that's not compatible yet, because the base rules are simply what you get inside a box that you'd pick up from a store like Gigabytes.
Yeah, and I kind of hope that they keep it that way, because this is going to be almost like an introductory for some people into 40K, those people that don't want to drop all that money on like a whole army. So I can take a look at, like, let's say Thousand Suns are one of like the armies that I play. You get one sorcerer in that box, and you get one of the heavy autocannons in that box as well. Like, and so even though you can normally only take that in a unit of 10 dudes, in Kill Team, if you have a unit of 5, you can still bring that one sorcerer and that one heavy weapon. And that's also kind of where the diversity of that game comes in. So yeah, you're gonna have to pay more points for it, but you also get to use the like heavy weapon specialist for the guy carrying the autocannon, which is kind of cool. And that's a way to add more depth to the game without giving you like a million units for options.
It's also going to be neat to experience, because you're not going to lose a whole unit to one person being shot
exactly
at. Yeah. So there's more room for recovery as a newer player. Usually it hurts to have an entire unit wiped off the board in one shooting phase or one combat phase. And in this case, your opponent will have to spread out to attack everything. So there's good room for counterattack, things like that. There's good room to recover instead of just getting wiped off the board.
And also guys like don't die, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
So like they're not just like one wound and done. Like there is an injury table and all that sort of stuff that you get to roll on, which I think is really important for these smaller scale games, because if it's like a one and done shot, like the games will go too quickly and it feels like you wouldn't necessarily get to gain nearly as much as you could.
And also, like, I guess not so much being able to re-rack, like there is, you want your people to remain uninjured.
Yeah.
So you can be a lot more cautious. You're looking for that great opportunity instead of just, grabbing that what is it, shuffleboard thing and just pushing guys across the table.
Yeah.
So interesting. I've read through the rule book. I have looked. It's really cool how the specialists get to level up. So a level 1 specialist is basically a specialist. There's no point addition. For every level 2, 3, and 4, it's an additional 4 points. So an additional 12 points on top of that model. So when you're playing campaign games and you can add onto your game, you're recruiting more members. Say you have your gunner who's leveled up to a level 3. So Tactical Marine, which costs 12 points, then his heavy bolter is 3 points. That's 15, plus 8 points for the heavy weapon. You can bring in new people that are just part of your team, and they so your specialists level up individually, and then the rest of your regular guys level up together, which is really cool because you don't have to worry as much about them.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool options for Kill Team, and I'm excited for narrative games, and hopefully I will get more time for narrative games.
Yeah.
Because a campaign with Kill Team sounds like a lot of fun, especially given the option that like they covered almost every single faction that could possibly be in a Kill Team, minus Custodes and Imperial Agents. But those guys might find rules later. We don't know.
That would just be hilarious. Like, what is this guy doing here?
Yeah, it's just like your Kill Team's one model.
It's like team.
But yeah, so it's really cool that they got like all this faction diversity, and it's not just like, it's not just Space Marines that cover all the other like Space Marine chapters. Like you get unique stuff for each one of the unique chapters, like Blood Angels and Space Wolves and all that sort of good stuff. So it's great to see everyone's kind of represented in it in some way or another, which to me is a great way of pulling folks who already play 40K in, because you can just like, well, you already got a Kill Team. Like, I got a Kill Team, Mark's got a Kill Team.
I do.
Literally everyone on the staff here has a Kill Team, and they could play if they felt like it. Just grab a book and get going. And that's also the other thing that I'm excited about, is that it looks like all the rules for the models that can be included in Kill Team are in the Kill Team book.
Yeah.
Because they had to change the rules for it. Correct, John?
Yep, they are.
Yeah. So, like, you literally all you need is that box of models and then that Kill Team book, and you are golden. So
there's actually not a ton of lore in it. There's only the first some pages, and it gets right into rules pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it would be kind of difficult to do the lore of 14 different factions concisely enough without making the book cost an additional like $10. So
price point is important to keep low for things that people already typically will have the models for. So like, hey, I can start doing this. And when you have people that are immediately jumping into the game, people that are new to it are happy to invest.
Yeah.
So I mean, Games Workshop, I think financially is extremely smart.
Yeah.
In knowing how to get people into a game.
Yeah, and they did a big thing. Instead of like the last Kill Team that they released in 7th edition, like the only way to get the rules was to buy the box set of Tau versus Space Marine.
Yeah,
really?
Which was fine, because like for at least for the initial wave, that's what it was. Like I think it was like $80, and you got a unit of TAC Marines and a unit of Fire Warriors. But at the end of the day, like me as someone who's not going to play either of those armies, like that's like finding someone to buy those pieces off of me so I could just have the rule book was kind of a not a great thing. But this time that they're releasing the book with it, or just individually in itself, that's huge. I'll gladly pay $40 for a book instead of like the $100 and whatever dollar box set.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Every single battle report that I've seen has come in 45 minutes or less, which is great. If you're looking for shorter games, just take fewer models.
Yeah.
Find the models that are more expensive, like Lictors, are 25 points. I think Warriors are 20. So you can play Tyranids for the boss aliens. And those games are going to go by quick.
100?
Yeah.
So yeah, one model.
Yeah. So you can go with a real low model count army and just hopefully you can get by with skill alone instead of swarms. But you can also buy like a unit of Poxwalkers and bring I think the max allocation of models if you really wanted to.
Yeah, you can get up to 20 models in your Kill Team on the board at once.
Yeah, so you can just bring a unit of Poxwalkers.
Good luck finding the Lictors, so they blend in.
Yeah, that's true.
So for instance, I have my Orc list. So I've got my Boss Knob here. He's actually going to have a Grot backpack on him. So the actual boss is going to be a Grot. And then got a Burna, a couple of Ludas, and then just a crap ton of Grots.
So do you pay extra points for equipment, or is it like power points?
Some equipment. Most equipment is free, but like heavy guns and then like big choppas and stuff. So anything that's like a power sword, power fist, those are 2 to 4 points. And then heavy weapons tend to go from anywhere from 1 to 5, I think.
Okay. That's
really for that.
Yeah.
So your rubrics, I think, are 16-point base. And then I think the lead one, the Aspiring Champion, I think is 17 points.
That makes sense.
And then, you can get, I think your Psychic abilities might be free. You might have to pick from those.
I know that they also gave new Psychic abilities. Like, a lot of the core rules from the book have been toned down.
Yeah.
Like, it's no longer Smite. I think it's like Cybolt is what they're calling it. Which
Basically the same thing.
Yeah. A little bit different, but yeah, they do adjust a lot of the point costs in the rules to make sure that everything is compatible and playable in Kill Team.
Yeah.
So I really do appreciate that, because it takes a lot off from, us having to like house rule stuff or try to find cool conversions to make sure my army is thematically okay with one of the templates that they gave us, kind of thing. So,
yeah.
One
of my favorite things about the gameplay I've read, because now that I've read the rulebook a couple of times and I watched a couple of battle reports, reaction is part of this game. So if you're a fan of that, this is going to be like super fun. For me, I love tactics. I love to be able to choose how I react to situations or what my opponent's throwing at me. For instance, if you're charged and so let's or heavy charged, you can retreat as a reaction to that charge. It's very cool.
And retreat's moving 3 inches back.
Yep.
Oh,
so,
wow.
So like basically it's like, oh hey, I got that 7-inch charge. You're like, make that a 10.
Oh, do you get to decide after they roll?
No. You decide before they roll. But
Yeah.
like, let's say like I'm 2 inches away. Be
Gotcha,
like, okay, moving back to a 5 probably won't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're at that like 7 or 8 or 6, like
Yeah.
moving back 3 inches could mean the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And they also changed the charge rule where like I think you have to end in base contact instead of within an inch.
No.
Oh, so within an inch? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can declare a charge, and it's considered a successful charge if you can end within an inch of the
silence. But we're fine. We're back now.
We're back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. There we go.
Lagged out. All right. Cool.
I'll fix it.
All right. I think we should be fine, guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, the charging mechanics are really cool. I really do like the fallback stuff.
Because you're only falling back one model each time you do it. It's not like you saved everybody with it.
Exactly. So
yeah, I think if you retreat, I believe you can't shoot if you retreat.
Yes, I would say that's it. Yeah, because like they give you the option where like someone declares a charge versus you, you can say you can either retreat or you can overwatch. You can't do both. So I like that rule a lot. I wish there's like some really cool rules in Kill Team that I wish they would like somehow bring over to 40K, but
that's really what Games Workshop is doing, though.
Yeah.
They always test new things with new games, and then if it's successful, if people really enjoy it, and they feel like it needs to be dragged to another game, they do it.
Yeah.
Like Age of Sigmar to 40K, like
and 40K to Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's cool. Like I do hope that they learn from this Kill Team, and hopefully people will like find enjoyment in this game, and then see where the possibilities could lead for future additions or changes to 40K, which would be kind of nice. So,
I've been talking to some folks, throughout the last year of 8th edition. 8th edition is very large, right? So it's meant to be a massive battle. I have a feeling that Kill Team has the potential to be a very competitive thing, especially with the quicker games. Once people get used to it, I feel like games are going to go by in 15 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, and also one of the things that I enjoy with Kill Team is that for me as a store, it's something that I can demo really well. Yeah. So I can teach someone the fundamentals to 40K for the most part with a small amount of models, and have that lead into much larger games of 40K.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot. Get new people in, I think, is always like the goal for miniature hobbies, and it always should be like the players' goals too. I know we talk about this all the time, but like you as a player should always be accepting and bringing new people in, because new blood keeps the game interesting.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to tell someone, oh, just buy the one box of Orc Boys or whatever, Tactical Marines. Come over to my place or come to Gigabytes, go use the paint table, and then paint it up and play, and that's it. That's all you need to play. The best thing, though, is that you can get one of every Kill Team, which is what I'm going to do.
It's the same thing with Shadespire.
Yeah.
They want you to collect it all.
Yeah. Well, they've sort of made it in Shadespire. You have to because if you want to have a really competitive card list, each deck that comes with a Shadespire Warband, it has some unique.
They are releasing them as a pack.
Yeah.
So you won't have to buy all the individual models that come with it as well.
Hopefully, the other great thing with Kill Team is that it can be a kitchen table game, because you only need that like 2 foot by 2 foot or 22 by 30 board that comes in the box.
Yeah, feel free to gain covered from that can of beans.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that's fair, like it can be played on a small table, and that's important, like especially for gamers that can't get out as much or want to play at home. That's all very important.
And simple homemade terrain works.
Yeah,
I recommend if you play smaller space, just lower the point values. From what I've seen of gameplay, it seems to be that 75 points is great, especially for starting games. But you could do even as low as 40 to 50 points if you only have like a 2x2 space, or even smaller if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Hmm?
Kill Team, is it overhyped? Probably not.
No,
I don't think so. I think there's fair reason for the hype. I just want to make sure people like manage their expectations and realize that this is going to be different than 40K, and it is definitely not replacing 40K.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think they learned from a lesson from the 7th edition Kill Team.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of new great rules and a lot of new things to try out, and I hope everyone does get to come in and try it out. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so
let's talk about the terrain.
Yes.
It's so good.
So that's one of the reasons to get the new box set. Not only does it come with the rule book and 2 kill teams in it, but it also comes with new terrain that is currently only found in that box set. And there's also like other terrain kits that are coming out alongside, but a lot of it is like repackaging of other terrain kits and pieces and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Kill Team box set comes with the 22 by 30 inch like board, and it's like MDF. And the ruins are much different than like, you know, the typical like Manufactorum ruins that you see. They're more like Gothic City kind of style, which is really good. But it is much different and provides a different way of playing while giving, once again, a new visual to like complete that 40K universe. In each of the box sets that are coming out, like currently the Orcs and the Space Wolves, they each have like a little terrain thing with them. Like the Orcs come with like a crane set with them.
Yeah, because they got to collect all that scrap.
Yeah, and then I can't remember what the Space Wolves come with, but they come with like a small building set as well. But I think it's like manufactured.
I'm checking right now.
But yeah, so
I'm on the wrong one. We also have 2 more kill teams that have been that were on the website. There's the Scions, Tempestus Scions. It's a 5-man squad that comes with crates and a bunch of barrels, and then same crates and barrels with Gene Stealer cults.
Okay, all makes sense.
So those will be expansion packs.
It does make sense because Inquisitors would usually bring Tempestus Scions with them if there was an investigation into Gene Stealer.
Right. Yeah.
Like So a cool tidbit from the advanced rules: if you're near the edge so let's say you're on a second story, right, and you want to gain a height advantage and shoot over cover or whatnot, people shooting at you and they successfully hit you can cause you to fall down and take falling damage.
Yeah. You don't want to get shot with a shotgun while you're trying to like cross over ledges or whatever.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, I keep wanting to cuss there because this kind of stuff is really cool to me. I love skirmish type games. But that kind of stuff is super fun for me. Like just the idea that you literally can have an advantage, but still got to have it in the back of your head that someone can take advantage of your advantage.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Double-edged sword.
And risk reward is always a fun thing. And it's important to have, like, especially like smaller games, like actions you can have with like the less amount of models makes the game feel a little bit more complete, right? So like 40K, you have so many models, and generally what you can do with each one of those models is fairly limited, right? You know, and how your opponent can interact with them. But like the smaller the model count, the more interactions you can add, which increases the fun, right, or the experience to it. So
you get to learn your models better as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I enjoy the terrain interactions, the fact that they're putting out more terrain, and that's something that Games Workshop has really been killing lately. Is just every time, like probably at least once a quarter, there seems like there's a new terrain piece or feature that comes out, and I love what they do with Age of Sigmar, where they make sure that each faction that has been coming out usually has like a unique terrain piece to it that can benefit the army. So
what's crazy now is they've basically turned spells into terrain pieces.
Exactly. So once again, it's a great way to make the board look more engaging to people watching it. Pulls new people in, makes my experience more cinematic. So I really appreciate that Kill Team's like continuing that trend, right?
Yeah.
It's not just going to be like a bunch of guys on a blank 2x2 just gun alleying it. So
but what I find kind of funny is if you think the whole like I can see further because I stood on the shoulders of giants. Like each time someone steps on that giant's shoulder, then another person steps on their shoulders. Like they basically are island hopping their own games to figure out how to develop them, how people enjoy playing them. But I feel like at some point it's like Games Workshop has become the only person that's been able to lift themselves lift the bucket while standing in it kind of thing, because they're just like lifting themselves up off their own stuff. It's just quickly developing into multiple games, multiple franchises that can work with each other. And eventually you just have people like, oh, I can get into that. I have this. I can get into that. I have this. And I really enjoyed the games from this, or the rules from this, and they've brought it over to this. So I already know partially how to play this game.
Exactly.
And it's crazy. Like, you can make so many different games, but still have them intertwined, connected, and the ability to use what you have. So your collection grows and your ability to play different games grows. And it's just insane how, like, this hasn't happened until now.
Yeah. In the last, 2 years is when it really started snowballing. So it's impressive. It really is. And it's it is a great time to see this, like, giant renaissance of, like, tabletop games and miniatures. And Kill Team's just a part of that, right? So they are figuring out what they've done wrong in the past and improving the experience. And really all it takes for Kill Team to be successful, I think, for us as a store, is making sure that we have people running it, and that's where our champions come in. Like Ricky Kia, I know, is going to put together a fantastic Kill Team league as soon as we get the rules in hand, and we wrap up whatever league is currently going. So look out for that. And if you guys are interested in Kill Team at all, that'll be the perfect time to check it out.
Yep, I believe it's going to be a August campaign.
Oh, good.
So basically, it'll be 1 month to play games, get used to the game system and everything, develop how you want to build your kill teams, and then I think end of August, he said, we'll start a Kill Team campaign.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, super fun. Yeah, so, last word on Kill Team, for me, 2 words, which is, quick, and then, easier to set up. Like, easier to play, easier to set up, easier to teach, I think, just because of the scale.
Absolutely.
I have actually not heard the...
They released a Kill Team tutorial going over the steps.
Yeah.
And whoever did the video to it, like, just a guy standing still talking at you for 15 minutes, so many camera cuts and swooshes, but it's really informative. It will go over all the basics, so you can learn from there. But the man does have a velvety smooth voice.
It was very smooth.
That'll be on the Games Workshop YouTube if you guys haven't seen that yet. So check it out.
And their whole website, actually, they have a whole dedicated Kill Team website now.
Yeah.
So he's the kind of person that introduces smooth jazz. Like,
I guess so.
Like, stay tuned.
It kind of reminds me like someone who like explains really well, maybe at a convention. They put them in front of the camera and they're just, okay, just talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's a good video. It's very informative. I watched it yesterday. So if you guys are interested in like getting a visual guide on how to play Kill Team, check out that YouTube. So yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So let's move on to Privateer Press.
All right.
Yeah. So this released last week,
and I've already had the displeasure of playing against it. It hurts. It hurts so good.
This is Crucible Guard. Trying to get the proper. Aha!
There we
did
go.
it.
No.
So that's the new faction that Privateer Press just released. It is a faction of mad scientists,
alchemists of renown.
Yeah. So alchemists. Engineers, all that sort of stuff. It is
Jetpacks bros.
Exactly. Yeah. So basically, they take all of the technology in the setting and kind of push it to one extreme or another. So they have guys with jetpacks. They have dudes with like diving suits and like pneumatic hammers. They have combat alchemists, guys lobbing potions on the battlefield.
They have scanners.
Yeah. They also have tanks and things like that. So it is a really wide variety and impressive army to try out. And like I said, it's a new army. It's a limited release to it. So what that means is like it's not going to be the same as like a lot of the other factions in War Machine. They're not going to be like there won't be consistent releases every single month for Crucible Guard after the first wave's done. You'll still get models every once in a while. Usually, they say about once a year or so to get a new wave of things. But
they start off strong.
Yeah,
they got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Where do they fit in terms of the lore? Like, are they a sub faction or something?
They're not a sub faction. They're a complete faction on their own.
Okay.
What happened in the faction history is that they were a part of a nation called Lael, which was invaded, and these guys were all more or less scientists and things like that, and they didn't want all their technology going to the invaders, so they ended up fleeing the country that was taken over, and they moved to a separate country called Ord. And Ord's deal was basically, that's great, you guys can stay here, but we are not going to be your speed bump in case another invading force comes in. You need to militarize and build up an army by yourself so you can defend yourselves as well as us if need be. So they had this contract, and since then, over the last several years in the War Machine setting, they've been building up their army. And now they've finally been kind of pressed into action by a couple different forces. So they are basically not a nation. They are a company in itself. It's called the Order of the Golden Crucible. So they themselves have much different motivations than a lot of the other armies in there, because they aren't necessarily motivated by like borders or like economy.
Not for king and country, but for science and money.
Yes, exactly. So they're not quite mercenaries because they already get paid enough because they end up selling a lot of the technology and weapons to the warring nations that already exist there. But every once in a while, they will move out and find a reason to fight. And that's usually to protect their interests, whether it's like a mining colony or potentially an experiment that they kind of left in the wild that maybe someone's not too fond of.
I guess we can collect it. We do need to get the data off this thing, aka dissection or whatever.
So what else in the army box?
The army box, I can show you back here, comes with these figures. It comes with the Warcaster Silvestro, who is himself a combat alchemist.
Last name Stallone, right?
Sylvester Stallone. Turned Warcaster. It comes with two of the heavy warjacks, one being the Vindicator, the other one being the Suppressor. And these guys both kind of exemplify a lot of the weird alchemy that they can do. They have a lot of modular attacks, different kinds of serums and sprays that they can use in combat. There's Gorman Wolf, who is a renowned mercenary in the setting, but he works for Crucible Guard as a faction member. A unit of Rocket Men, which are those Rocket Men-looking guys on the bottom.
So cool.
Yeah, no, they are one of the coolest things about that army. The Dragon's Breath rocket is down there as well with them, and that's their artillery piece. And that basically is delivering chemicals to far-off sources with rockets and explosions. And then at the top of the box, those are going to be the assault troops. And these are heavily armored guys that were originally designed as like emergency responders. Like, let's say an experiment went wrong and someone's trapped in there. So you'd bring the assault troops over there to pry you out of whatever situation you got into. So they're encased in these heavy hazmat suits. But on the flip side, whenever they need to mobilize military, they take those same hazmat suits, give them hammers, and send them off to battle. So
that's awesome.
And this is just the first taste of Crucible Guard. They'll be releasing from July all the way through November, should be the entire faction out. So if anyone's interested in it, it's a fun, relatively easy to learn army with a lot of modular attacks to it. So they can really kind of change their play style based on what they're fighting after list building and in the game itself.
Their infantry has multiple orders they can give their troops, and it can be either anywhere from like being versatilely mobile to just super high defense. It's a as someone who played against it, I was like, whew, all right, I guess I'll try, but. It's hard. It's tough to deal with, and they're a fun army because you can just change your tactics on a whim with them.
So it's basically an easy to learn army with options.
And there's a Journeyman's League coming up, right?
Yeah, starting August 12th is going to be the Journeyman League. So if you're interested in playing Crucible Guard for the Journeyman League, all you have to do is pick up this army box because it comes with the pre-approved battle box for the Journeyman League in itself. So. And it also lets you build up to 50 points from just this box, and then you can continue on from there with the Journeyman League. It's a really great investment. I can't tell you how well me and Mark assembled a box for our friend Tommy.
Super quick.
Yeah, it took what, an hour and a half.
Wow.
We also had an additional helper, Kira, but it was a really easy to assemble army. The models are gorgeous. So yeah,
love it. Any other releases for Privateer Press?
So throughout the month of July, it'll be just Crucible Guard models. The Toro Vindicator kit releases today. And this is their heavy warjack kit. It also complements the mercenaries as well. They can be used in the Toro warjack itself can be used in mercenary lists. So if you know someone,
just the Toro one,
yeah, just the Toro can be played in mercenaries.
Toro's really good though.
Yeah, this is really good. And also this heavy warjack kit is hard plastic. It assembles amazingly. It's a fun model kit to put together. So if you've always kind of like warjacks and wanted like a hobby kit just to paint up, I would windmill slam this one first, just because it's really nice. But yeah, so Crucible Guard and all that's coming out over the next couple of months. So if you guys are interested, me and Mark both know a lot, so always come up to us and talk Privateer Press. We're happy to instruct folks. So,
love it. Next up, Age of Sigmar new releases.
Yes. Age of Sigmar new releases. So we got a bunch of easy to build stuff, which is really awesome. And it's basically both kind of flushing out the Night Haunts and the Stormcast, Sacrosanct. There we go.
Sacrosanct.
Yeah. So you can now get the Ballista by itself, which is really great.
Yeah.
And for those who are keen of eye, you'll also notice that it is a slightly different crewman with this one, so it's not the same as the army box that you get in.
That lady there.
Yep. And then Soulblight character.
Soulblight character?
Sorry.
Sacrosanct?
Yes, but Soulbright is her name.
Soulbright, yeah.
Astria Soulbright. So she is
Light Soulbright
character. I love the animals that the Sacrosanct get. The Draco Lions, I think they're called.
It's another beast of the...
Yeah.
They just constantly tame all these cool things and send them out as mounts for their Stormcast.
Then there's the Dreadblade Harrows for the Night Haunts.
So cool! Oh my god!
Yeah, 2-man cavalry. They look absolutely gorgeous. $25 for these two guys, I think, is a steal.
Seriously?
If you guys can look at the prices on all these, it is ridiculous. And since these are all easy to build, keep the price lower on these kits. That would maybe cost you double the amount.
Yep.
And then there's Rake, the Grimhauler, who is one of my favorite sculpts.
Yeah.
But I like candles on things, as I'm a proper Gatorman player. So once again, $40 for that kit is just absolutely amazing. And then finally, not an easy to build, but we have Kurdras, the Craven King, who I absolutely love.
The Skeleton King from Diablo.
Yeah, I was about to say that. So if you guys are a fan of Diablo, this guy will kind of
show him the back.
Scratch that itch.
A lot better with what he's got there.
He comes with like two kind of ghostly guys with him.
One guy with the flag, one guy trumpeting his arrival.
Dude, but he's got that giant mace and all that gorgeous like cloth and cloth and all that.
And man, that stuff is real easy to paint.
And so the Kurdras, the Valentinian King. Oh, did we lose power?
Yep.
There was.
What's he getting? Well, guys, come back to... Yeah. Might have just crashed on me. Can we do the same thing that we always do whenever the laptop crashes? Just do a little... whoop. Well, we are actually wrapping up time-wise, so I'm going to cut to me, because that's always fun. What? Look at that. Out there. So, Kill Team small, tactical. If you're looking for fewer models, then go with things like don't necessarily go with orcs, because orc boys are 6 points. You can get a bunch of Burnas and Ludas for like 12 points, but you'd still need quite a few of those. Go with things like Deathwatch, Primaris, Intercessors, and Reavers are higher point-wise. Things that you can take like that are higher points. Check out the rulebook. Everything goes for pre-order tomorrow officially. So you can also put in the comments what you'd like, and I'll add your name to the list. If you're at Gigabytes and you can come by, local shopper in Atlanta, just comment what you'd be interested in. And then we can add your name when pre-orders go live officially tomorrow, right? And then pick up boxes based on what is in the rulebook. So off the top of my head, Thousand Suns has Rubrics, Zangors, Death Guard has Pox Walkers, and the Plague Marines. What factions have it? Grey Knights are just a Grey Knight squad. You can pick up one of those and you're set to go in terms of them. And then who else hasn't been featured yet? I think that's just about everybody that's been featured. So yeah, T-Suns I think are last on their faction focus list. So we're super excited about it. Oh, okay, let's talk about some events. Jamie, Armada Store Championship tomorrow. That's exciting. Oh, Power Down. That's not good. They said they lost power. Oh boy. Someone else. There's a July thing coming up. Are you back with me? Hello. Oh, look. There's Joseph over there. I'm gonna put the camera on you. Can I do that? Look at him. Look at his hand. That's great. Look at that. He's doing a lot of work there with his hand. That's great. Okay, we're going to the preview of the IG stuff. Imperial Guard. IG's Imperial Guard. So, all right. Well, we're going to call that for today because I'm looking to do a little bit of painting as well. Oh, okay. Go back to me then. Do a little bit of painting as well. Wrap up in a couple minutes at noon. Yeah, so let's see. I talked last night about, and where's my paper that I had? I think it's upstairs. About some of the rule differences between Kill Team and 8th edition. So the big thing that they did was introduce a lot of reactive elements, but also more interactions between phases. So in 40k, when you do a charge, the charging models are the first ones that get to attack and fight in the fight phase. Well, in this, any models that didn't move get to ready, and then those models shoot first. So those kind of rules interactions are the big differences. Another big one is the scouting phase. So before the battle starts and before you've deployed, you get to scout and do one of 6 options. And of those 6 options, some of them literally are just counteractions. So if you want to be defensive and protect against a certain action, you would take a firing line. Basically, one is like number 4 or something like that. And anyone that did a forward deploy, basically 20% of your forces get to deploy 6 inches after you finish your deployment, right? So if you have 10 dudes, 2 of them can move forward, and it's rounded up 20%. So for my Orc Kill Team, I'm going to have 20 models on the table. So that's going to be 4 models that get to move up 6 inches. So super useful, especially with the Grot Shield, which Orcs get, which is where you, for 2... Okay. He's... Joe's is trying to get in touch with me. But no, Joe, you don't get to. So we're wrapped up on time. But you get the Grot Shield, and you spend 2 command points, and people who want to shoot like your boss knob have to shoot the Grot instead. So super useful things like that. A lot of cool rule interactions that are very really meant for that smaller space. Let's check if anyone's asking any questions. No? Okay, cool. I think we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks, y'all, for joining me, and we will see y'all later on this weekend. Pre-order your Kill Team stuff. officially tomorrow. Let us know what you want, and we'll make sure to have it for you when we get everything in. Have a good day, y'all.